I have one last weaving project to show you. I'm going to do this tall round piece. So I've covered it in plastic. It's just a glass jar. You can either put the weaving strips along the bottom, and just like we did before, 1, 2, 3, and go the other direction. Or you can put a solid bottom on, which I'm going to do. So this circle here, and then I will fit these pieces onto the side. And you can do it two ways. You can put these on first, or you can put the circle on first. I like to put the circle on first so that the inside looks a little more finished. When you look down into the jar later, you'll see this instead of the tops of all of these pieces. So I guess it depends what you envision yourself using it for later, if you'll be looking into it or care what the inside looks like. Okay, so I'm going to attach my strips to here. I will score on here and just score one end of all of these to get them attached. And oops, let that hang down, and I'll try to do them opposite each other. I am going to grab a board to work. There we go. Now I'll just make it easier to spin around. So the first two, do these, arrange them opposite each other, and then again, you can determine how close you want to put these. You can certainly put them closer together for a tighter weave. Oh dear, here's something I need to think about. Up and down, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay, so yes, I want an even number to do this. Yeah, those will kind of just work like, almost like little feet as well. Okay, now the tricky part about this is getting this one to not fall down while I'm working on it. So I'm going to pull up 4 of them, every other one, and put my strip around, and I like the edge to fall in the center of one of these strips. So I'm going to wrap this around here. Try to give it a look, see if it's the same all the way around. And then cut it off to fit. And then switch these out. Smooth out my edge there a little bit more, where the joint is, and then bring the next 4 up. And I have one more strip here I'll do. So these aren't quite going up on top, if I just kind of press them there, they'll stick long enough to that little piece of clay while I do this. Oops. Stick that first. Bring it around. I'll let that drop. See if I can hold this up so you can see it. So it's just going over under, and I'm going to finish this rim with one strip all the way around, and then I will fold those edges up. And again, I want it to, can you see that? I want it to join in the center of one of the strips. So just like that. Take a look, see if it's fairly level. And then I'm going to flip these down. Now I could bring them pretty far. Could even make them kind of an open loop like that, or just bring it short, barely above the rim piece. So I'll score that, moisten it, and smooth that down. And go around, and I'll do all of those. So now I can go back, smooth things out a bit, make sure there's no loose seams, sharp edges, little dings from my fingers, that sort of thing. And I'm going to want to leave it on this jar for a little while. Maybe I'll, it's kind of late, I'll throw some plastic over it for the night. I wouldn't leave it on here overnight unless it was covered in plastic. It would dry too much. And I still want to be able to clean it up tomorrow on the rim a little bit, so I don't want it to be too dry in the morning, but it's definitely too wet. If I pulled the jar out now, it would just collapse. But I'll hold it up and you can get an idea. So there's a couple different ways to do weaving. That one and the pie plate. I have a finished one here. And this one was done by weaving it on a table on top of a piece of plastic and then setting it into this square dish. It has the strip. You can see the seam there. I laid 4 strips down first and then did the weaving on top and laid 4 more strips here. Added some little corner decorations, smoothed out the seams, lifted the whole plastic sheet up with the whole finished piece and set it into